I just think silence is sometimes a wonderful thing, especially after that. It's like really powerful. Soak it in. Like I said, there's so much in there. We could do a whole day on that. I mean, really tangential, could go everywhere. I think if he ran for president, he'd probably get a few votes.
Yeah. What was his name again?
Simon Sinek. Simon, S-I-N-E-K. He's got some other, he did a presentation in New York City, I think October 13 or 16, and it was geared to younger millennials about finding their spark in life and the 5 keys to help them. Fantastic. But just, we literally, I should show that one too. I love the one about the styrofoam cup. Check that one out. He's telling a story. He's great at storytelling. Joshua, go ahead.
I've never seen this video, but and most people know me. I sell cure putters. I sell a couple of other things. But I figured out sometime along this year that in order to be successful, I had to stop selling. So the most important thing that I figured out for myself, and it was just sort of, is that I had to come in contact with people and give them a great experience. I had to tell them why I was there, not what I could sell them. So I came up with Rhythm Balance Golf, because that's why I was there.
You're telling me that story, and I'm thinking back to all the sales reps that came in, well, even my dad's shop, and my shop, and how Michael walks in and it's bang all about the what, and like, whoa, and Brian walks in, and I don't know these terms back then. I just now look back and go, wow, the why, the what did I do every day in my life? What was my club's why, things like that.
So I try to, every time I come into a conversation, I try to figure out what is a shared why between myself and the person I'm talking to. Once we figure out that shared why, then we can then anything that I sell becomes a natural conversation of what I sell. But most people aren't interested in what I sell. So I have to figure out, you know, why they want to talk.
It's even like those. You're on Delta Airlines and they walk down, well, through the terminal, especially in Atlanta, Sky Miles, and then they're on the plane and walking down the aisle and Sky Miles, and that's a big time what? Get some miles, get this, percentage rate, this, that. Now you're comparing it to all these other commodity-driven Sky Mile this and whatever the points and this and that. If they went down the aisle and said, we've got a way to connect you with your loved ones, such an easy way. We've got a way that you can explore the world. We've got a way that Jake can go to far reaches where he never thought he could go. We've got a way where Anthony can be with his long lost friends. I mean, that's just off the top of my head as far as like quick and easy. And this, it's just something to watch and practice and make a mistake and learn from the mistake and give it a try with your teaching, if you're a sales rep at your facility, no matter what you're doing, teaching college teams. It's got a wonderful message that underlines everything we're doing today. And I always laugh when I say this. What does Simon say? People don't buy what?
They buy why you do it.
People don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. And it's just fascinating. And then also this cause, belief, the purpose as you build your teams. Now I know there's some assistant pros, and I was proud. Every one of my assistants moved on to be a head pro. The most proud thing in golf for me. I just thrived on that. I wanted to help others, but still I had some staff and maybe a couple of assistants that they didn't have the cause, belief, purpose that I had, so it was a little off. But you try to get a team together, you can use this why for that. Yeah.
There's a book called Built to Last that they studied companies that survived over 100 years in the United States. And one of the commonalities was they all had a purpose, a noble purpose. You know, their products came and went, their leaders came and went, but their noble purpose stayed throughout the 100 years of why they were in business. Basically, the why.
It just opens your eyes. Again, this is one of the first foundational building blocks of today, but it does set everything up throughout the day. And just thinking back, keeping that in mind, watch it again, share it with your team, off season, get some time to look at that. If you're teaching, and we have some slides coming up in a little bit, but we're going to take a break here in a minute, and you're always talking about your rate and your sand putt lab and your TrackMan and your launch monitors and all that stuff. There's going to be some people out there that believe in what they believe, but you know, Steve's here talking more about helping your life and helping your quality of health and living longer. And you know, is there a way to take a little bit of a first step forward and use some of this why? Or are we going to keep doing it the traditional way and then bitch and moan because, oh, my lessons are down? At your facility, are you still doing the same offerings for instruction or golf tournaments and wonder why you're not getting much turnout for things? At this first break now, we're going to just do maybe a quick 10-minute break, so we've got a lot to go over today. But I want you to do me a favor, and we're going to get back to this. I'll explain a little more of this later on today. Take your Post-it notes. Do me a favor and just write your age on it. You can fake the age on it, that's okay. And then as a tie-in to the why, remember, 7-shot penalty if you screw this up. We've got officials in the room looking. You're going to take the one Post-it, why you're a PGA professional, and put it on this mirror. Take the other Post-it with your age, and please put it over here about why do you play golf. Just put it underneath that social, entertainment, neutral, or sport. And it's 10:30 right now, so we'll take a 10-minute break. We'll pick it back up in about 10 minutes, 10:40.
Okay, so the first Post-it was what we've already written on it, and you do or you do not want our age on that one.
No age on that one, that's a separate one.
Okay.
Entirely different Post-it
You get the whole table to write our age on that.
Yeah. Your timing was such.
Entirely different Post-it note that goes on a different spot just for why you play golf.
When we come back, we're going to do the 12-7 on the draft offers.
Yes.
There you go.
I'm not sure if it's on in a minute.
Yes, where is
You can see he performed from non-compliant.
Is he in the front of the room? I mean,
Probably
only anybody under the 28 years.
I have to say, I know.
Not tomorrow, I can't make it. Yeah, you good.
You want the first game? Yeah.
That's where you want. I remember going there for.
That's my wife.
I saw the
Yeah, I think that's good. Please contribute. Please give me your
Yeah, I do remember that. Yeah, we're trying to get a date. Yeah, I was on track. I was like, I never thought
Cool.
17. I like left.
Right, yes.
I'm like, shit, I can drive. 36
If you can throw the ball there, you got it. Your cutter,
And then I don't see drivers.
I may not have him as well.
but just right when you have 16 wins on the course, front nine, that's where you're different. I wanted to we doing 18, we just did
I'm not going to ask you about
I know where
That was my second. Yeah, no, I tried to keep
I get into the playoffs.
I honestly, I couldn't make a cut.
Everything's good?
I just did that. It was like first two hurt you. I mean, second year last year. I
want to be a head from
South Florida.
I gotta figure out what I'm doing.
I think it's pretty cool. Time to get somebody up there.
I think
There's a lot of talk.
Are they going to keep pencils are too sharp? So my response was here. Here's a pen.
Our mayor wanted us to save pencils. So we have to get, we're mayor, we're a village. So we, anything, guy, he's not with us anymore. His name's Warren Coleman.
They don't have it.
I felt like, what do we say? We probably don't have it. What exactly are we saying? I mean, to be sharp there.
They don't even know why. They don't.
Yeah, they get 3 estimates.
I'll say just get her in the racer.
That's what our mental like.
I'm trying to be there. Why?
No, it's like,
For me, I mean, I feel
like another $1 and a pencil.
And if I'm not
on that particular day.
I'm like, no, you put down here on the score, and you go, you're not the fearless leader. You can't fear and inspire that.
I got paid.
Yeah, I think so. Right. You don't have to logo it. No, I think the hexagon it says L-Y-C.
That's definitely wasn't a waste of time. But
Not too
but to your point, I agree. You can feel that. How do you?
I'm gonna do
Frankie Martinez and
Best dressed man in the room right
you want to come?
Oh, it's so nice to see you. Oh yeah, no, I sent you. I'm sitting there going like, I was like looking at your thing.
Be there all day.
that's a great idea.
oh yeah, they're right. Yeah, they're so close.
Like French. It's a nice area to be in.
Second, it went up.
I didn't ask you. I said, I know it's going to probably have
It's my second one. I came in. That'll be good. Get myself acclimated. I like it a lot. Definitely midsections. I mean, top of the top. It's fun.
For some reason.
Take a look at that book and I can see.
Yeah, it's all. Yeah, so you get off at 2 o'clock. And 1 o'clock because you're out. You're nothing in the summer and it's pouring ass rain. And you want to go play golf and you go home and at 4 or 5 o'clock it's back out and you got like only 2 hours of sunlight. You don't want to go back to the course and get dressed again and go home. It's like days are way too short.
That was kind of a good thing.
Never been in a desk so many hours in my life. That's one reason.
Thanks for having me. It's great.
Even as we were getting on, we were just
I'm in direct construction. I mean, I might as well been. I was the first assistant. Obviously, our obligations are to run tournaments. That's like the main thing. But like these people that come down there, in my opinion, they want to just relax and play golf and have like this atmosphere, not get less and get better. I think it's honestly opposite of go in the winter to get better to come back up here. But it's at my place. That's why our salary was so high. Drove me to get any lesson. You're running a 244 plus tournament, and obviously there's so many games you got to jump through to make sure your checklist is top right on slab. So the technology is so
So, I'm sorry, go ahead. Yeah. Do you think the PGA knows its why? I don't. I don't. I'm going to be calling you a lot, Bob.
No, first. I'm so jealous. You can make your way back. Ask the guy in Kentucky if he can. My ear is still sore. Like this. I love share process together. Maybe something I can that's I gotta get my dog. Whatever I do, what I do.
Thought it was cool and
Quick reminder that when we break for lunch, we'll take a photo. If you want, I'll take the case off.
You're really killing it here. You're killing it.
Tom, I'm glad to see that gift we're going to give you at the end, the Rangers cover with the...
Give your Flyers. I got a Flyers jacket for you.
Oh my! Don't say that.
5 in a row, baby. Let's go.
Or an NFL rules book too, maybe?
No.
Leo, I'm going to leave the section feeling very deflated. Oh yeah, it's all fun and games. Okay, yeah, we will break at noon for have some lunch here, and I hope you enjoyed that. It was neat to have some conversation with everybody, and a few people like James have seen this many times, but it's like one of your favorite movies. It's a book, you read it again, you watch it again. Oh yeah, I forgot about that comment. That was an interesting take, or it didn't, or maybe your life had an experience and then he makes a comment that can resonate with you. So again, I highly suggest, highly recommend you watch it frequently, any of the other Simon Sinek videos, but also this one. It's pretty special, and show that with your team. And again, to get your whole team on the same cause, belief, and purpose that your facility and what you're doing. I mean, it's a big thing. I want to be, my phrase is always, I want to get everybody on the same page going forward together, instead of everything fractured all over the place. There's a lot of, as you go through it today, there's a lot of good information, obviously that, and there'll be more. And as we built this, I kept going back to some great intellectual information, amazing intellectual information. Definitely can help me and fellow PJ members, but how do you make this conduit of this info to the day-to-day life that happens at the facility? And part of my life, somewhere you're teaching, something happens, you got to get running back into the golf shop. You're short-staffed, always short-staffed when the card on 14 breaks down. It's 9 o'clock on a Friday, and you got a huge weekend coming up, and there's 3 boxes of EP Pro, and you got a big ladies event the next morning, and you stay in the shop, and you check it in, and you price it, and you display it, even though your wife's calling you screaming that the kids are crying, and it's a Friday night. My life, your life, it's what we do. So if you have that why, and it's burning inside of you, the why you're a PGA member and why you get up. I love that one line. I don't know, why do you get up every day and do what you do, and why does anybody care? If people care about you at your facility, that's job security. You shouldn't be going anywhere. And we have a neat book that I'm going to touch on in a few minutes. But as we were building this workshop and putting it together, and I started to go out into the field at different sections, then just like anything, and I'm a show and tell kind of guy. I like visual examples. And as I'm going through airports and traveling, and there's a lot of specific information, examples that I've accumulated that I hope to take this information and drill it down into what you and I think about every day, basically. And it's not too ethereal up here. And after I started doing a few of these workshops, I'm leaving West Palm Beach to go to Minnesota in February. Below zero. Screwed up. I did not bring my hockey skates. Major malfunction there. I should have brought my skates. All kinds of skating everywhere. Anyways, I'm going through the West Palm Beach airport, and I go by the one little spot there in the terminal, and I see this USA Today, and I think that ad relates to what was on TV the night before, which was, this kills me to open this because they should have been in the Super Bowl, but Panthers and Broncos. Really? Anyways, if the guy didn't drop the punt for the Patriots, I'd turn the game around. Anyways, so I'm still steamed the next morning, and I didn't want to look at that part. But basically, I jumped on my phone. If you go back to my Facebook timeline and look up this past year with the Super Bowl, I made a comment that the Jeep commercial, they know their why. And it really started to resonate in me. And as we were putting this together a year and a half ago, I started to especially listen, radio, watch TV and print, and you could see different companies, different people, different leaders, like Simon mentions, about their why. And it just was fascinating. So I land in Atlanta, I'm still on the go, rushing in my plane. I go by another stand, I see this. I make my way to Minnesota, I go to the Hampton Inn where I'm staying, and I go to check in, but I go to the right because I noticed there's a big stack of USA Todays. So this same exact print ad was in 3 different states. So I figured it's a national print ad. They just spent millions and millions on creating the ad, spending millions to put it on the Super Bowl, and then they spent millions for a national print ad for this Jeep. And I'm down, I had about 40 of these. Your fellow PJ members like to, I guess, well, I don't call it stealing, I call it investigative data reporting. So, take a look at that. Now, Jeff said it was okay to give away cash.
Oh, yeah.
And trips and prizes and jewelry, so you got great sponsors up here. Now, for this company, Jeep, that spent untold millions, if you can figure out and tell me what the price of this Jeep is out of this ad, if you can tell me what the payload is, the capacity, the clearance, the what, I'll sit back and we can wait so everybody can fire away. Obviously, it's not in there. It's one of my silly jokes.
But you have an idea. Even though that information isn't in the ad, you have an idea of what you think that information is based on looking at the ad. So you have a good feeling about buying the car just from looking at it, because you relate to it.
Naturally, Jeep's been around a while.
Yeah, it's an American thing.
Right.
The Kia couldn't put that same ad out. You know, they got Steve McQueen on there and everything. You know, it's more of it's an image thing. It's not has nothing to do with the car.
Now, if somebody, an executive with Jeep, put this together, and they might have done something with the price, and the this and the that and the what, I mean, they could have done that because you've seen it out there. But they had the thinking, it should be an iconic brand in America, maybe the world. One of the Iowa PGA members last year said to me, he used to sell Jeep, used to be a Jeep salesman, and he said to me, you know why? That's why there's all the bars there, it represents each continent, because the Jeep is in each continent. Some useless trivia that I want to share. But to Bob's point, some companies still do the what. It's all about the price, all about the commodity. And Jeep and others, and over in Thailand, it's all about the emotional connection with their ads. They're 2, 3, 4 minute long ads. If you go on YouTube and look Thailand, over in Asia, that area, it's nothing. You will need Kleenex. You will be crying at some MetLife insurance ad. It's like, you're watching this going, what does it have to do with insurance? And they do a little thing at the end. Now, they're just trying to get this emotional connection, which will be, that's our next big topic we talked about. But the Jeeps, the different companies out there that are driving home or trying to get the why, they're spending tens of millions. I think I was talking to James about, well, just the idea that these major companies are spending tens of millions identifying human behavior, human buying patterns, why we do what we do, why we think the way we do. So if they're spending the tens of the millions, if I'm back at my club, I would always steal ideas. I don't have that kind of budget, but I like to steal. I'm sorry, research data and pull some ideas and make them my own at my facility. So that's just one example. I come across them all the time, and it's, as you start to open your eyes and think about this, will that change your behavior? Will that change your mindset that maybe I can change up how I offer lessons? Selling a lesson, as we know, is extremely sexy. Selling a lesson. Did you get it? It's like some of my best stuff. Maybe it's too early in the day. You see these companies, the Apples and different ones like that. I've got lots of examples. This is my show and tell stuff. I have some good stories coming up. You've got companies that tried to Bob's point, that still tried to drive home pixels, battery, life, the size of this and that. They didn't do so well.
Are you curious about new ideas? Do you want to learn a new language? Or just a new word? Maybe you want to know more about anatomy or astronomy. You could master something new or uncover a hidden talent, there's never been a better time to learn.
Iconic Apple, I got more Ryder Cup prizes. What was that price? What were the pixels? What was the battery life? What was the screen? This, that. You know, I looked at this why and the how and the what, and you look at these things, and again, my humble PGA Pro brain, and I think back to how many ads did I create. That was me, where I was championship golf course, par 72. I got to get the yardage in there. I got to get in fully stocked golf shop. You know, you think about the what stuff, and I did change over time. And I didn't know this stuff as far as terminology. I didn't know the science of this, and I didn't see these YouTube. But I just never stopped trying to bump my head in a wall to say, I want to do something different and better. I thrived on being the first one to do anything. And if I found out some PGA member in the Met did something, I was like, dang it, how did they? Well, I'm going to do it better than that. And how I take that and make it my own at my facility. And I did graduate, and I did get away from a lot of the what as the things I did in my shop. I didn't have a sense of it. It was just, as Simon mentioned, the gut feeling. It just didn't feel right to me. All about the price. And it's all about the commodity. And why do people save 4 cents or 3 cents or 2 cents to go down the street to one gas station versus the other? Complete commodity. No loyalty. He talks about loyalty. Why do, well, I think I saw somebody at Dunkin' Donuts, but hey, it's a New England thing, right? So why do I back home? It's Dunkin'. I'm out on the road, I go find Dunkin'. I might go past the Starbucks, but why do some people go 20 minutes out of the way to get a Starbucks? What's that loyalty? What's that why that they believe in the Starbucks? When I was at PGA Village, one of the first times I got everybody, with 300 people on the team there. It's a lot of people. Couldn't close the whole place down, so I did 2 separate meetings. 150 people in the education center. Part of my spiel was, we're not chasing customer satisfaction. And a lot of people looked and said, who is this guy? Where did they get him? What's he out of his mind? And I said, if we open these doors every day, we're going to satisfy the customer. If that's our goal, my God, we're miles short of what we should be doing. We will be all about creating loyalty. We're going to be all about creating emotional connections. We're going to be deepening that engagement. Otherwise, it's just, I'm not telling you anything you don't know. They've got 3 golf courses there. So what? In the state of Florida, there's a bunch of places with some nice golf courses. What does that differentiate? What does PGA Village differentiate from another place, like Streamsong or whatever? What is your facility? I mean, it's just some grass out there. They got a decent building. What is Knollwood? What's Knollwood's why? How do they connect and emotionally connect with the members here to keep them here and not let them leave? Because down the road, not that I know the lay of the land here, but they're going to go to Bob's place because it's a little bit cheaper and they do certain things different there. But then another couple of years later, they're going to go to Sean's place because it's even cheaper. You can make these sweeping generalizations and just these ideas that it's all about the price. It just gets cheaper, cheaper, cheaper. And I half joke that pretty soon I'm going to be in my shop going, hey Brian, here's 20 bucks. Will you come and play my facility? Because you just keep going low, 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 low. I presented the national board back in the recession area, and I said, you cannot cut your way to prosperity. It's a great quote I found. It worked in well. If you want to use it at your board meetings with your GMs, you cannot cut your way to prosperity. You can manage expenses, but at some point you got to drive the business. PGA members can drive the business at the facility. So creating loyalty, as Simon talked about, that gets people back in time and time and time again. I had a really nice dinner last night at it was down in Tarrytown. I was customer satisfied. I don't know if I'll go back. I mean, it wasn't like they developed loyalty with anything they did last night. So if you hear, and I get off my 2-inch soapbox here, but if you're at your facility and it's all about customer service, I suggest you look deeper and higher and look into how to build loyalty. The loyalty factor is huge. It transforms your human behavior. So, quick recap on Simon. You're not hopefully going to start all the time with the what. And it's just commodity based, and then people are just going to price shop in a basic language, lessons, golf, whatever. Do start with the why. By the way, I should have mentioned earlier today that I feel awful. I didn't bring a program. I know you're feeling awful about. I came from the PGA and I don't have a program. So, just want to get that white elephant out of the room. I don't have a program today, so. But today's about, Steve takes this information, Brian, Frank, Chris, you take the information through today. This is your info. You do with it what you want at your facility, and you own it, and it's a you problem, as Colin Calkirk would say, that you got to figure out your business. Leo, to your comment earlier, wink, wink. I got no program. I don't have your why. You got to create your why. You got to find your why. You need to foster and nurture and create your why and let it grow. And maybe it attaches to a PGA program that makes sense to your facility. Maybe it doesn't. But to think some PGA program is magically going to work at everybody's facility, every facility is different. So I just want to mention no program today. But as one simple exercise that this Get Golf Ready, maybe in the old days this would have been plastered with 5 lessons, $99 and more of that. I'm not saying this is perfect whatsoever. There are different components of this with the dad and the little boy, men. So if you wanted to use this for adult player development at your facility and you're gearing to women, great. If it's gearing to families, you can use some imagery. Gearing to men, you could use that imagery as well. This was the first thing that popped into my mind when we put this workshop together, and it was initially taking this why and saying, you know what, the thing we do a lot is teach. Hopefully, we're doing a lot of teaching. So if this is this circle, what, how, why, and we do sell what all the time and mention the what, and it's the TrackMan, and it's the Sand Putt Lab, and it's the launch monitor, and it's all that what stuff, or the how, and then by the end, and it's 6 lessons for the price of 5, but if you do multiple series, we knock another one off, and by the time it gets to the why, you're home hitting the thing going, honey, did he say his Uncle Sam how teaches too? Is it Uncle Sam or Jerry Sam? Or and if it's 7 for 13, we do the math on that, because you know where I'm going. I'm going to have a little fun here, but that's what I did. That's my best friends. We all would do that. It was all, here's my accolades, and here's my certifications, and here's all this stuff. And is it going to hit a sliver of people? Yeah, they're going to be impressed with that. And I'm not saying don't be proud of everything that you've done as PGA member and the certifications, but to lead with that, maybe you could think about I don't know, Brian, what do you think? Kind of just maybe, oh, there you go. Oh, okay, perfect. Maybe start with the why. And think of a generic ad, maybe a radio, maybe some print, whatever you're doing, and be proud of the technology, be proud of certification, be proud of those things, but give it a try. If you're dead late Wednesday afternoons, you're screaming for some business, could you help me to maybe try Something like this. I'm not saying you do maybe if you're slammed on a Saturday morning, great. Is this let you charge more money if we're talking teaching? Josh?
So, I decided that I don't give golf lessons. I give great experiences.
Excellent. What should be about, right?
So I just focus on how, you know, what do they come, what idea did I come away with from them, and what idea did they come away with from me?
Love it. Leo.
Our purpose, we're trying to build a community and create relationships. So when you give a beginner a golf lesson, you're potentially introducing that person to hundreds of friends, new friends that they've never had before. When you give an experienced golfer a golf lesson, you're maintaining friendships. They might stay with the club if you can turn their game around. And through these friendships and relationships, medically, believe it or not, their physical health improves and their mental health improves and their life expectancy is increased. So what we're doing is helping people a lot, and we, you know, that's the why, you know. That's what we try to sell.
That study in Sweden, people that play golf live longer, the recent study. If people hear that, do you think maybe you could, maybe it's not always about the almighty dollar, but maybe it helps you charge a little bit more. Maybe it certainly helps you get more people going through your coaching and teaching. That helps you as an individual, helps your family, helps you with the facility to look more credible. Man, that guy is so busy. Hey, maybe it creates another job. You sometimes don't think about that in the jobs, adding jobs.
But, you know, you were mentioning, one of the first things you talked about was that culture strategy for breakfast, or whatever it was. And, you know, if I'm in the middle over here somewhere, I can have the greatest attitude in the world. I could have this nailed. But if I'm only giving metrics of how many juniors I've brought in the program, if I'm only giving that, and it's not an institute or the culture does not pervade where I'm working, I'm going to fail on 2 counts. I'm not going to be able to develop this way that I want to develop it, or I'm not going to be able to satisfy them if I'm trying to serve the 2 masters. So if it's a, I wish that, I guess the point is that this has got to swim upstream. So it's.
I'm glad you brought up the other elephant in the room type of thing. But we started, I think I'm going to answer your question. Let me know if I don't, Bob, seriously. We put this together, wanted to get to sections of PGA members very first. More and more as I've gone to these, not that I don't think anybody here is on the GM side, but we've started to say to sections, you know, it's okay to open this up to have GMs that aren't PGA members here. They need to see, listen, and learn this info. And we have reached out to the golf course owners, the club managers. Did not want to do an end around to fellow PGA members. Wanted to get out to as many sections as possible. But early on, I knew this, I sensed this. I thought, because I think back to the gentleman, the Long Island legal law firm that owned the club I was at in Maryland. I'd go to all these PGA things and I'd come back all pumped up and it's like, whoa, time out, kiddo. So I had a beat on him, literally, not literally, but I mean, just, I had a lot of work to do, to Bob's point, that, yeah, I want to change things. How do I look around and the owner says, no, I'm saving money. Brian's behind the counter answering the phone, because that's saving money. I was in New England this September. I don't know if anybody knows Pine Hills. It's down towards the Cape. Fantastic 36-hole public facility. Brilliant fall day. And the director of instruction, I didn't know, I hadn't met him. I walked in the front door with Brian Bain, our PDRM up there. And the director of instruction on this beautiful day at midday was vacuuming the floor. And I thought, wait a minute, this is a joke, right? that person can drive so much revenue and business and retention and more business and facility, but the owner said, no, you need to help and you vacuum because that saves me money. So we are battling upstream. There's some small pockets, there's some successes. We are seeing PGA members that have gone to this, but what Chris mentioned earlier, hey, I'm gonna get my board and different people to watch that video. It's one step that's gonna take, it may take some years, but it's better than just sitting and going, I don't know, this sucks, I just, hey, we got a battle. If I can help you and talk to somebody, I'm glad to do that. I'm eager to do that. I cry to do that. I want to help if I can open some eyes. Doesn't make sense. This guy's way more expertise than me, but if I'm so-and-so from PGA to call in and it opens up some eyes, use me. That profit from 1,000 miles away or whatever. You're the expert. You know your business, your facility so well. I can't hold a candle to Bob at his facility. But I'm glad to make a call to open up a door for him to then wiggle through and start to get some things to change. It's going to take some time, but we are getting to golf course owners and GMs. I'll be going to New England. We try to do it in the fall, but I'll be up there talking to their golf course owners chapter. I love that. That's what we need to do. I hope does that help. I mean, you know, it's not going to solve everything, but if this is one specific example for teaching, but I have some other examples coming up as far as if it's a little more maybe geared to some public, but there's an analogy here to private facilities as well. What you do, how you doing it, but starting with the why. I've got a few PGA members now that are starting to do this, and they're giving me preliminary response that's good. Believe me, they didn't lose any business, and it helped them create a little more. And you build some confidence, and then you tweak it a little bit. So if the ad information flows down, it just doesn't lead with the price all the time. I got away from leading with the price, trying to build a different culture, a different way of communicating and messaging at my facilities that wasn't always about the price. When I went to Dean Beeman, when I was with Dean Beeman and Gary Shaw, we opened that facility. That was my section. I knew that area. It's not unlike you here with traffic. This was more, we opened that first one as a public facility. I hung our hat on growing the game of golf. We were dedicated to growing the game, and also home of the 4-hour round of golf. I didn't say every day, every tee time was 4 hours. Watch that, right? But I said, we are the home of the 4-hour round of golf. Anthony, give me 15 minutes on the road, we'll give you half an hour back on the golf course, type of thing. So we started getting people from Richmond and Washington, D.C. to come down to our facility because they knew we paid attention to pace of play. Pace of play was a big, big deal in that area. Doesn't mean it wasn't about everything else that's important, good greens and so on and so forth. But when you interview with Dean Beeman, and he is this far away, and he looks you in the eye and he goes like this, and he goes, let me tell you what, I will never, ever have my facility with a connotation of slow play. You get that? Gary Shaw's over there is like, go get him, Bob. So, you know, that was a big thing to Dean, so, hey. But it was amazing this why, again, don't know that, I just knew we did this and we started to attract people that believed in our pace of play. We attracted people that believed and are dedicated to growing the game. I looked at Dean, I said, I'm not gonna cut the pie up. My verbatim was, Dean, I'm not cutting the pie up around here. I'm a PGA member. We have the skills, tools to create our own pie. We're going to create our own pie. And I loved getting new people in the game of golf because I got my hooks in them. And they didn't go away. I built strong emotional attachments. Literally family-like in many regards. So they're going to stay with you. It's not always about the price. Does anybody think they could give this a shot? And if you did, I'll be wicked pissed if you don't let me know. Seriously, because we want to build on these successes. I can stand here, but I'm not running a club anymore. I can fake it with you guys. I need Colby Wallets in Kentucky to say, I did, and he just said, I could go on the internet and show you what he sent me. He's going to do this. Then I can say, look what Colby did in Kentucky.
Bob, explain to me what cutting the pie up meant. I don't get that.
I guess the vernacular of discount, discount, discount. There's so many golfers, and there's too many golf courses, and we're just going to cut the pie up with people going to different courses. That phrase was around, I think, maybe I read it in a history book from the 1980s. Yeah, it's just, you know, instead of divvying everything up, it's like, screw that. I'm gonna find people. We're gonna create our own golfers here.
Yeah, I'm not saying this to brag, but we already do it at our club. When I got there 6 years ago, we were losing over $1 million a year. Now we're making a profit. Changing the culture, trying to make the pie bigger, and it works. And it's fun to come to work every day. I want to share it with everybody in the room. It really does re-energize you when you come to work with the why. You know, it's not about the dollars and cents. That just follows if you have a noble purpose. It works.
It does. Great comment, Leo. Did anybody notice on that assignment video as well when he talks about the Wright brothers taking flight and hear airplane noise?
Yeah, I did notice that.
I didn't notice that the first couple times, but then I went, oh, wait a minute. That plane didn't sound like that. Or is it just me? I mean, it was cool when he does it. Another one of the quotes as far as this, as it applies to that, I could stand up here and jump up and down and try to do everything I can to inspire you to maybe give that a try, but it's a lot of people, it's this mindset of, well, we have never done that in golf. We don't do that in golf. Traditionally, here's what we do in golf, so on and so forth. So sometimes it's a good reminder if there's one good reason why it could work. Hang your hat on that. Believe in that. Just curious, the specifics of the image, after some dialogue and discussion and soaking it in the Simon Sinek video, I don't know if there was any change you'd make to that, what you wrote down earlier on your, what do you want to say? You don't have to, it's just little stop moments through the day about, are you thinking right now differently than 9 a.m. this morning? The wheel's starting to move. We're not done, but just curious.
And on the 8th day, God looked down on his planned paradise and said, I need a caretaker. So God made a farmer. God said, I need somebody willing to get up before dawn, milk cows, work all day in the fields, milk cows again, eat supper, then go to town and stay past midnight at a meeting of the school board. So God made a farmer. God said, I need somebody willing to sit up all night with a newborn colt and watch it die, then dry his eyes and say, maybe next year. I need somebody who can shape an axe handle from a persimmon sprout, shoe a horse with a hunk of car tire, who can make harness out of hay, wire, feed sacks, and shoe scraps, who planting time and harvest season will finish his 40-hour week by Tuesday noon and then painting from tractor back put in another 72 hours. So God made a farmer. God said, I need somebody strong enough to clear trees and heave bales, yet gentle enough to yean lambs and wean pigs and tend to pink-combed pullets, who will stop his mower for an hour to splint the broken leg of a meadowlark. So God made a farmer. It had to be somebody who'd plow deep and straight and not cut corners. Somebody to seed, weed, feed, breed, and rake and disc and plow and plant and tie the fleece and strain the milk. Somebody who'd bale a family together with the soft, strong bonds of sharing. Who would laugh and then sigh and then reply with smiling eyes when his son says, that he wants to spend his life doing what Dad does. So God made a farmer.
Anybody seen that before?
Super Bowl.
Yeah. Probably one of the Patriots played in.
I think it was the
96.
Panthers.
You had to ruin it, didn't you? You had 96 one, yeah. That one.
I mean 86.
No, I'm talking about Packers. 96.
Oh, yeah. So anyways, yeah. I mean, that's powerful. I mean, Nebraska PGA members, that's very emotional, especially up there. But just one final example of this messaging, this emotional connection, the company's finding their why and really driving that. And you watch that, you get that imagery, you get that belief. And I don't know in a truck, but I watch that. I go, man, it just drives you emotionally. I want to make a decision. And do we do enough of that in golf? Do we do enough selling great experiences? I have a slide, which is fantastic, just came up. We're wicked good at selling tee times as an industry. Not so good, not so hot at selling, but creating great golf experiences. People want a great experience, memories, some joy, but it's all about the tee time, the pricing. So are there any applications of this we can take back to our facilities, back to if you're full-time teaching, back to sales rep? I mean, me, again, wink, wink, Leo. You know, I just look and see, and I'm on camera, so I might have to edit something maybe. But, you know, when I see certainly sections, and I get it, and national, and I get it, MSR 4, or get 2 MSR, or, you know, that talk about the what, and just barely getting many PGA members, and they're certified, and that's great, and everybody's busy, and you got stuff to do, and I get it, lived it, and just getting to say just the right amount of MSR. But if that subject line could be one little flywheel, one little teeny step forward, Bob, for the PGA, that it didn't blare MSR. I don't know what the message is. I don't know, is join your fellow PGA members to, it just, could there be something different than just a what, a quantifiable 2 MSR? Do I want 2? When you got the email for this, is it 7 or 8? I don't even know.
7.
7. I kind of said that on purpose because that's probably, you know, is it all about the MSR, or is it a bigger picture that, and we want these to be intimate like this, believe me, 300 feet, this is perfect size, but more section meetings and just more education, more getting together. How do you drive that from the PGA, from the section, from the chapter? Or is it all about the holy grail of the MSR, and then it's, nope, I got enough MSR, I'm good, I'll see you in 3 years? Or should it be more emotionally, we can do something on that subject line?
Was this meeting today sold out, or was there empty spots?
I'll tell you side story in a second. This was, I believe, basically sold out.
Okay.
So a sweet spot for this is 2 to 3 dozen. So we're right there. Now, back when I was at my club and I interviewed quite a bit. You love this, Brian, because I get interviewed a lot, and it could be whatever. I mean, and people would say, you know, how's the turnout today for the golf event? We have full field, fantastic, a lot of excitement. Steve, now my assistant might go, oh my God, we had 22 people playing today. How could you possibly say it's a full field? I go, dude, we tried to get 20 people. We got 22. That's a full field. So you always had fun with that. You know, it didn't have to be 144 people. So, but the point here is, yeah, we basically had a full field. It was filled up nicely. I love that one too. I've got a female PGA member in Mid-Atlantic that still calls me full field. That's my next. Hey, full field.
Can you give us some examples on, ways we can kind of flip the script and flip, reverse that golden circle through advertisements, or how do you think we should go about that?
Actually, I have some coming up in a few minutes, if that's okay.